Hello, good evening, everybody.
Hi, good
Hi,
evening.
good evening. Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year.
Hi, Ellie, thank you very much for joining. Gillian, thank you. Sinyu, thank you. Ginny, thank you very much. And we have Dawn, Jesse, thank you very much for joining. It's going to be a smaller group today. I think most of the participants are probably just returning from their vacation or overwhelmed with the number of emails in their mailboxes. So what we are doing is we are actually recording today's session. We're going to do it a little bit differently today. I think Hui is in Japan right now and she's not going to be joining today, right? So it's just going to be myself and all of you. Any newcomers today? Any newcomers? No one. Don, you are muted. Your line is muted.
Sorry, I'm not a
Ah,
newcomer.
okay.
Repeat
Oh,
student.
sure, sure. Yeah, right, right. No, I just saw your camera being turned on, so that's the reason why I thought
Okay.
you wanted to say something. All right, no problems. Okay, so it looks like everyone has been in these sessions previously, so it's going to be a nice continuation, a nice segue into today's class. So, everyone speaks about the new year. Everyone speaks about resolutions, right? I'm sure most of us would have set up or set some resolutions for this year. Um, Anyone would like to share, what was their experience as far as clinging on to their resolutions last year, achieving whatever they had set as their resolutions? Anyone would like to share? What was the experience like?
I didn't set any resolutions.
Ellie, me too. Last year, I did not set any resolutions for myself.
I never
Last
keep
year.
them.
Yeah. And, I just went with the flow. In fact, last year, when I was at the Himalayas during, um, the 30th of December all the way till the 4th of January, uh, the only thing in my mind was putting up a resignation letter to my bosses that I need a change and therefore I'm leaving. Fortunately, it turned out to be a wonderful experience for me because the organization had curated a new role for me. And that was such a wonderful experience. So that was not a resolution, but it was a determination from my side. So it looks like no one has set up any resolutions. Uh, all right. So um, in today's class, we will be looking at this whole science of setting up resolutions. At the same time, when you set up a resolution, there's just so much of positivity in you, right? You are thinking and you are setting up your goals. You are feeling, your mind is already set on, okay, I'm going to be working on this. I'm going to be putting all of my energy into achieving, what I've set up as my New Year resolution. So there's a wonderful saying by Socrates where he says that, the secret of change is to focus all of our energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new. So essentially what he's saying is there are times when we need to stop clinging on to the old. Of course, there's so much which we can learn from the old, which is, what are the lessons the earth school is actually teaching me based on my old experiences. But as a spirit soul, the quality of a spirit soul is that it is curious, right? It's curious. It's very, very enthusiastic. It's wanting to learn more. There's just so much of joy in actually learning, right? So that's what we are going to be discussing today, right? So to make the new year resolutions, right, or to make the new year positivity last, let's look at a holistic approach by dividing experiences into four quadrants. What do I mean by that, right? let's look at the old versus the upcoming new, and then the happy experiences versus the not so happy experiences. So if you think of a 2 by 2 matrix, right? On the y-axis, you have got the, on the y-axis, you have got the happy versus the unhappy experiences. And on the x-axis, you are transitioning from the old to the new and upcoming, right? Like this, right? So you have a 2 by 2 matrix. And, we can actually come up with a wonderful acronym to describe this 2 by 2 matrix. The acronym is LAST, LAST. So if you are looking for, a lasting positivity, maybe you may want to adopt or, bring this framework into your life, right? Which is looking at the old experiences, if they are, not very happy experiences or unhappy experiences, maybe it's time for us to let go of them. Again, when it comes to the old experiences, there will certainly be some wonderful, amazing, happy experiences. Let us take some time and appreciate the experiences. And then looking forward, right? Looking forward, there will be certainly lots of new happy experiences. And the onus is on us as a spirit soul to be seeking for such experiences, right? At the same time, we know that just like there are happiness, there is happiness, there are happy experiences, there will also be sometimes unhappy experiences. When we watch TV, right? Sometimes you see the ECG, right? It's never a straight line. It's always up, down, up, down, up, down, right? So there will be times in our lives when we will experience happiness, positivity, and there will be times when we will feel agitated, unhappy. So ancient wisdom scriptures explain that we need to tolerate those experiences. Okay. So once again, LAST. We need to let go of old and unhappy experiences. We need to appreciate and express gratitude to the universe, to God, for the old and happy experiences. At the same time, as a spirit soul, I cannot be in the mode of ignorance only. I need to be constantly looking out for new experiences, right? And these experiences can be happy, or sometimes, unfortunately, there are unhappy experiences. When we are stuck with some unhappy experiences, we need to tolerate this. Okay? Tolerating is important because in this material world, everything is temporary. Right? Everything is temporary, number one. Number two, the focus should be on a higher vision that everything is part of the universe's plan. Right? Everything is part of the universe's plan. The universe, God, the earth school is trying to teach us something. Okay, I'll take a pause here to see if you have, reflecting on this, if you have anything to say. Shivani, welcome. Anyone? Any reflections? Is it making sense? Ellie?
Yeah, but I think the question is how to let go, That's the difficult thing, I think.
Correct, yes. It is tough, and I'll explain some of this shortly. Okay, any other reflections? Okay, So let's look at the first quadrant, which is letting go, right? So letting go of old and unhappy experiences, right? So it's important for us to avoid replaying these negative memories. We need to live in the present, right? That's what mindfulness is all about. It's about living in the present, right? Whatever has happened in the past, yes, what can we learn from that? But we cannot be clinging on to those old experiences only, right? That's what living in the present is all about. That's what mindfulness is all about. It's about appreciating the present and also trying to see what I can learn from the past. Learning from the past, appreciating and giving my best to the present moment is actually going to be dictating my future. Right? I'll do it one more time. Focusing on the present moment, which is mindfulness, and drawing lessons from my old experiences, right? Focusing on the present and drawing lessons from the old experiences is essentially what's going to be dictating my future, right? So it's important for us to selectively, forget some of these negative memories which do not serve us anymore. So holding on to unhappy experiences will just keep us shackled to a narrative of pain and limits our ability to move forward, right? Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It just means accepting, forgiving, and freeing ourselves from the emotional charge of the past. It does not mean just forgetting. It just means accepting it. Okay, this is what has happened. Maybe the Earth School has orchestrated this for me, right? I need to maybe take some responsibility for that, right? Also, it means forgiving people who may have hurt us, right? And also freeing ourselves from the emotional charge of the past. If we do not let go of this, then what's going to happen is it's just going to be eating us and eating us and eating us, right? So why do we let go? Because it can be emotionally quite liberating, right? Living the past leads to a cycle of suffering. And on the topic of self-awareness, recognizing that clinging to unhappiness serves no purpose at all. It just serves no purpose. The only purpose it serves is, what can I learn from this? And the Bhagavad Gita explains that, determination, which cannot go beyond resentment, dreaming, fearfulness, moroseness, illusion. This is determination in the mode of ignorance. All right. It is not going to be liberating us. It is not going to be bringing us to the next step. Okay. So once again, holding on to unhappy experiences keeps us shackled to a narrative of pain and limits our ability to move forward. Right? So what are some of the tools and practices? So coming to Ellie's question earlier on, what are some of the tools and practices which we can embark on? Right? So Hui has been explaining this quite a number of times. Meditative reflection, meditating, right? Even Stephen Covey explains as part of the seventh habit, right? Sharpening the axe. Before we embark on anything else, we need to sharpen the axe by engaging in this meditative reflection. And during this meditation, focus on what can we actually learn from the past, number one. Number two, focus on, requesting the universe to give you strength for this. Sometimes people engage in certain affirmations like, I release this burden, or I choose peace against clinging on to this. Sometimes, journaling also helps, right? Journaling helps. sometimes people journal it down and then they tear it off, right? Symbolizing, a release. And sometimes people engage in a forgiveness ritual where they reflect on those who may have hurt them and silently wishing them peace. Number one. Number two, also sometimes expressing, a little bit of compassion, because people may have reacted in a certain way towards us because of, their upbringing, because of the mental state they were in at that point in time. Or maybe, just maybe, it is a response by the universe towards me. Right? So number one, a meditative reflection. Focus on what we can actually learn from the old and unhappy experience, and then tell ourselves that we're going to be releasing this burden and we are choosing peace. Number two, journaling, writing down a little bit about the unhappy experiences and maybe tearing it away, and having a forgiveness ritual, which is reflecting on those who may have hurt you and silently wishing them peace. Recognizing that this compassion is so important. Compassion because people may have acted based on, certain triggers in their lives, their upbringing, etc. And this is actually important not for them. It is important for you. This is important for our own healing. It is not for them, right? I know this may sound a little bit theoretical right now, but there is sufficient evidence by Professor Richard Davidson to prove that this whole process of meditation daily, right, just strengthens our power of compassion, just strengthens our power of mindfulness, right? Just strengthens our ability to control ourselves during happiness as well as during unhappiness. Okay, I'll take a pause here before I move on to the other three quadrants. You may want to reflect on this. You may have a question which, one of you may want to answer. Let's just see if you have anything in your mind.
PK?
Yes.
Okay, I'm Vivian here.
Yes.
Okay, about your topic, I would like to talk about my own experience.
Sure.
My mom passed away in 2019. Even up to now, I still think of her, I still think of her. So how can I let go? And the best part is that my mom passed away. She grieved over my sister-in-law, my elder brother's wife. She passed away same time as her. She passed away in 2019 April. My mom 4 months later, 2019 August, my mom passed on. My mom grieved over her death. She can't accept her death. She grieved it. And she was so grieving, and she even wanted to go to Singapore casket to say sorry to her, being an elder woman saying sorry to a younger woman. We were so shocked why she behaved like that. So in the end, she passed on. And I really could not accept this. Even now, 5 years has passed. Sometimes I think, why is it happen in my family? But I learned to let go. That, I mean, she's already at age of 90, she passed on. I had to let go about her death. But occasionally, I used to think that, why did it happen in my family of 2 deaths within 4 months? An elderly can grieve over a young person. Whereas my father passed on in 2013, for her, nothing happened. We as children, we did the talk to the casket people, arranging for the funeral. She just doesn't bother. She doesn't care anything about it. That's why you talk about saying about letting go, to the loved one. But my family is like, sometimes I think it over of her. Why did she grieve over her death? Elderly grieve over my sister-in-law, my elder brother's wife, but they are not in good terms, and she can grieve over it. Sometimes maybe it's past life they are meant to do, or they do it like that. They come back to repeat in this life. Okay, I just want to say about this only now. Okay, PK.
Thank you very much for sharing this. You know, it's a wonderful thing that your mother decided to engage in this practice of, maybe I may say that, whatever your sister-in-law may have done, but your mother is actually forgiving her, forgiving her for that negative experiences, etc. And she's feeling that, yes, maybe she's too young to go. Probably that was in her mind. It's a hypothesis from my side. And for a person at the final stages of life to have that compassion towards the other party, that's an amazing quality. Juxtapose this to the experience when your father was about to go or had gone. Your mother was in full recognition that your father had lived his full life, right? So I would see it this way, that your mom is expressing compassion towards her. She's feeling sorry that this person has actually gone, right? And something which we should ask is, if we cling on to this feeling right now, Billion, right? For the past 5 years, this may have been playing in your mind. It played in your mind. You can ask yourself, what can I learn from it? But apart from that, right? What can you do about it? There's nothing which we can do about it at this stage. Both parties have left, right? What are the life lessons I can learn from that? Yes, that would enrich me. For example, I saw this element of compassion in your mother, right? And that basically strengthens and gives me more fortitude that I should be doing this. Let's not forget that, as much as we may want to say we have to be detached from, at a certain life stage, we have to be detached, etc. But this love, this motherly love, it's very, very hard for this to be detached. Okay, because maybe your mom was also feeling that, because your sister-in-law has left, is there anyone to support your brother right now, etc. Okay. But thanks for sharing this. Thank you very much, Billion. Anyone else would like to share something or maybe give a point of view on what Billion has just shared? While I take a pause and drink some water. Anyone else? Okay, so let's move on, right? So that was letting go of old and unhappy experiences. Now, let's look at old and happy experiences, right? Billion, what you have just shared, your mom expressing grief, expressing, concern, care, and pain over what has happened. I see it with a different lens. I'm appreciating her for that, right? I'm drawing appreciation. I'm drawing a life lesson from that, actually, right? So when it comes to old and happy experiences, we have to appreciate past happy experiences. And it's very, very important to be grateful for those opportunities, right? How many of us, right, As the clock strike 12, 1st of January this year, we took time out to express our gratitude to God or to the universe or to our loved ones, for all these positive experiences in our life. Did we take time out to express gratitude? It's very, very important, right? Even for the air which I'm breathing, the table the computer I'm right now liaising with you on, right? Sitting, with shelter, uh, having a nice shirt, etc. Right? So we just need to express gratitude for all that the Earth School is actually providing us. And don't be shy in also appreciating yourself for rising to the occasion. What does it mean is, for you had put in effort. You had put in effort and therefore you also benefited from that experience. There could be someone who was in the mode of ignorance and who did not engage, right? Did not engage in that experience. Right? But what you did was you engaged in that experience and therefore you were able to feel the bliss. And therefore it's okay to, appreciate ourselves for rising to the occasion. If we don't do that, yeah, it's a little strange, huh? Because appreciating ourselves also inspires us to go further and further. And the Bhagavad Gita explains that, satisfaction is a decision that needs to be taken by consciously looking at what is right in life. That's number one. And number two, we need to realize that all these amazing experiences are actually coming from the universe, from God. And these are just small sparks from the Lord. These are just, small sparks of beauty, opulence from the Lord. Everything is coming from the Lord. As I've explained in the earlier classes, we are just 1/3 of the equation. We can desire something, but then based on, our karma, right, it will be provided. Right? So we desire something, the Earth School, the universe, or God then sanctions it, and finally Mother Nature would then provide it. So gratitude transforms our perspective by shifting focus from what is lacking to what we already have. There's this old tale, where there was this person who was saying, yeah, I want a car, I want this, and then when he saw a beggar without leg, then he realized that, my God, actually I've got so much more, but I'm not appreciating for what I have. When we appreciate past joys, very important point, when we appreciate past joys, we reinforce a positive mindset which carries us in the future. Why do we appreciate? Right? Because it provides us with emotional anchoring. Right? It fosters contentment and emotional balance. It also gives us some self-validation, acknowledging our efforts during happy times, and this builds confidence in doing more and more. And very important is, the Bhagavad Gita explains that satisfaction is actually a mental discipline. It is crucial for inner peace. Right? Appreciation, satisfaction is very, very important. Otherwise, we are always wanting to chase for more and more and more, and we will never be satisfied. Okay. Can you think of a few tools and practices which can allow us to appreciate our old and happy experiences? Anyone? Feel free to unmute yourself and, Switch on your camera if you are comfortable. Otherwise, you can just unmute yourself. What are some of the tools which we can use to express gratitude? Anyone? Okay. So let me share with you, right? Number one is a daily gratitude practice. Every evening, we can just list 3 things, right, from the past few hours or the past few days, which brought you joy and growth, right? Just 3 things from the past few days, past few hours, which brought you joy or which brought you growth. Okay. And sometimes it's also good to have a celebration exercise. Reflect on a significant accomplishment and write down what it has taught you about yourself. Right? Write down and reflect on the challenges you overcame and appreciate your resilience. I always tell my daughter, because when she was sitting for her A-level exams, she was bitten by the Aedes mosquito, and she had to sit for the entire A-level exams in Raffles Hospital. Okay, it was a terrible experience for her. But then, she even fainted during the maths exam paper. But when the results came out, she did really well and she got a place in the National University of Singapore. And the principal actually requested her to come back and, do a video recording for all the future students. Right? The video was about reflecting on the challenges which she overcame and appreciating that resilience which, she gathered through the entire experience. Okay. So number one is daily gratitude practice. Just write down 3 things from the past few hours, from the past few days, which brought you joy, which you are appreciative of, and which brought you growth. Number 2, a celebration exercise where you are reflecting on your challenges, which you overcame, and appreciate that resilience which you had. Right? And also a mindful recall, where you relive a happy memory in detail, right? Engaging your senses, like, what you saw, what you felt, what you heard. Okay. Anyone would like to reflect on this second quadrant of appreciating the old and happy, expressing gratitude? So essentially what I'm doing in this whole practice is to tell you that this, as we get into this new year, it's important for us to, right, let go, appreciate, seek out for new opportunities, which is essentially our constitutional position as a spirit soul. It's always seeking out for, new adventure, the joy of learning agility, growth mindset, right? And then finally, when things do not go the way I want it to go, we need to have that fortitude for tolerance. Okay, that's exactly what the entire framework is teaching us. It's a very, very quiet day. I do not see much sharings from any of you, apart from Dealing.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, maybe I can
Sure, Dawn. Yes, I was going
just
to
like
ask you.
to share something that's in my mind.
Sure, Dawn.
I'm just thinking that the first 2 quadrants, they might be interchangeable. Like unhappy and the old and unhappy experiences, right? It's still possible that instead of just letting go, we can also appreciate like what in the past, maybe it was kind of unhappy, but now you're in a better position. So in a way, looking back at the past where it wasn't so good and then now you're doing better. So you can also kind of appreciate what you have learned in the past, right? Maybe that could be a learning experience that changed your path from there.
Wonderful.
And
Yes.
happy, old and happy experiences. Maybe sometimes for people who really cling on to those happy moments and refuse to move on, perhaps it's also good to let go.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. Don't allow your
Yeah.
past success to become your future failure, isn't it?
Yeah. So I'm just thinking that, yeah, they could be interchangeable depending on the circumstances of then and now.
Wonderful. Actually, towards the end of today's class, I will explain this too. The interconnectedness, letting go of old happiness creates space for appreciation, which in turn fuels your determination to seek new joy. And similarly, tolerating new unhappiness builds resilience for future endeavors. And exactly what you have just mentioned, which is, what can we learn from old unhappy experiences? At the same time, it's important for us to have that learning agility, that growth mindset, that whatever has served us in the past may not serve us in the future. Wonderful point. Thank you very much. Really appreciate this. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. So let's move on to the third quadrant, right? Which is seeking. Right? As I've explained many, many times, we are a spirit, right? We are essentially a spiritual entity. We are a spirit soul on a humanly journey, right? And the spirit soul is like, engaging in so much of joy just by learning. But we don't really see this because we are, in this material body, right? So as a spirit soul, it's constantly seeking out for new experiences if this spirit soul is in the mode of goodness. Okay? So this whole concept of curiosity, joy of learning, growth mindset, learning agility, right? So when we make resolutions, we are also solidifying our determination of wanting to achieve, right, or to live these resolutions. But it's very important for us to remember that the Bhagavad Gita explains that, yes, you have a right to perform your prescribed duty based on your nature. You have to perform your duty. But please do not be attached to the results. Okay? What you can do is you can give the best of your ability, but the success or failure is dependent on so many other reasons, not just your effort. Okay? What is within your control, you give the best of your ability. If we do this, then, when things don't pan out the way we had expected, we will not be so stressful because we have already set our expectations that this is what I can do. There are many other forces which are beyond me. Right? And it's also important, as explained in the Bhagavad Gita, that never consider yourself the cause of the results of the activities, and do not be attached to not doing your duty. Yes, I can, take some celebration, some joy, but it's important for me to also recognize that there are so many other forces which have orchestrated my success. It is not just my effort. Okay, this is a very, very important principle. If you ask the Western world, what is one of the most important learnings you had from the Bhagavad Gita? They will tell you this is the concept. This is the concept where you are asked to do the best of your ability, but do not be attached to success or failure. Recognizing that there are so many other reasons why it happens. And that is also one way of mitigating stress. Okay. So we seek new and happy experiences. Happiness often certainly requires effort and intention, right? So why do we seek? Because of personal growth, right? When you are in the mode of goodness, there is growth. So when you pursue new experiences, what you are doing is actually you are expanding your comfort zone. You are going into the uncomfortable zone and you are expanding and making this uncomfortable zone into your comfort zone, right? So that's personal growth. Secondly, it is also a source of fulfillment. When you align your goals with your purpose, it brings joy to you. Right? And thirdly, this seeking, right, is exactly as explained in the Bhagavad Gita, where I'm going to be seeking out for these experiences. I'm going to give my best of my abilities with the clear understanding that there's so many things which are beyond me. So what are some of the tools and practices? Right? Everyone, many people, they write down their resolution and then they map up specific steps to achieving them. At the same time, they must also be ready to accept that not everything will materialize. Okay, they need to set their expectations correctly. And once we have set our resolutions, we have, map up specific steps to achieve them, maybe look out for an accountability partner, right? Seek an accountability partner or a trusted friend or a mentor who can, encourage you along the way. And, sometimes it's good to also tell yourself that, yes, this resolution, I've actually already reached there. I've already achieved this, right? Because I had a clear intention in wanting to achieve this. I've already achieved this. Now, it is just, what are the steps I'm going to be doing? What are the steps I'm going to be taking to achieve this? It's important sometimes to just take a step back and visualize, or engage in this visualization exercise where you have already achieved this, and now it is just about, putting the right actions into place. Okay, any reflections on this? I think it's fairly straightforward. In the corporate world, everyone speaks about growth mindset, learning agility, curiosity, etc. So this is exactly where we are getting into the new year, and we are looking out for the positive experiences, or looking out for experiences which turns out to be happy experiences. And finally, right, tolerating this new or future experiences which may not be the most happy ones, right? As I've explained, in this material world, happiness is temporary. Unhappiness is also temporary. All right. It's like the ECG curve, right? Goes up, comes down, goes up, comes down, goes up, comes down. So tolerance is very, very important. This whole concept in the corporate world about resilience. Resilience is nothing but, every time we fall, how fast can we wake up? Every time we fall, how fast can we wake up? Right? It's about, having this fortitude, having this strength to essentially wake up during a difficult situation, and telling ourselves that everything is temporary. Right? Everything is temporary. The happiness which I went through was temporary. New happiness will be coming later on. The difficulties which I'm going through right now, in time to come, I will realize that, wow, that is also gone. I want you to now take a moment to just reflect on a certain experience in your life. It was such a difficult experience. At that point in time, it was like you couldn't take it, right? But now, months, days, years, decades later, you begin to ask yourself, my God, that was nothing, man. It was nothing. I just don't understand why I was so worried at that point in time. Anyone would like to share an experience where at a certain point in life, it was like a major calamity, but in time to come, you realize that, wow, actually everything was orchestrated, everything fall into place. right? There's a reason why it happened, right? It's just that sometimes I need to take a elevated view. It's important for us to sometimes divorce ourselves from a situation and see things from an elevated view and not be within the problem. You cannot solve a problem when you are part of that problem. It's important for us to see outside. Anyone would like to share an experience where something which was so tough at one point, you were able to just go through it because of your resilience? No one? Okay, I'll share something with you. Uh, there was one exam which, it was really tough, and I did really badly. I had to retain one whole semester. At that point in time, it felt like, the whole world had just fallen on me. And then in months to come, in years to come, I was just realizing that, wow, there was a solid reason why I had to retake the entire exam. And today, when I reflect on that entire experience, I just tell myself, wow, I actually learned so much in that 6 months. Okay. So the Bhagavad Gita explains that, this tolerating, having a higher vision can help us transcend this negativity, because the non-permanent or the temporary appearance of happiness and distress and the disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer season. They arise from sense perception, right? And we must learn to tolerate them. When I was seconded to New Delhi, my HR person had gotten me an apartment on the highest floor, thinking that that would be, an amazing experience. I will be able to see a nice view, etc. But that was a disaster, because in Delhi, in the peak of summer, the temperatures goes to about 50 degrees. And when you are on the top floor, the sun is actually heating the roof of your apartment. And however strong your air conditioning can be, you will still be perspiring and perspiring, right? So during that 1 year, when there was a lock-in period, I couldn't move out. So then I remembered this verse where, I just have to tolerate this for the time being, and maybe spend more time in the office than at home, right? There was another point in time when I was seconded to New Delhi again, and there was like a revolt against me, right? The entire, some of the sales guys, they felt that, India is a population of 1 billion people. Why do we need a Singaporean to come and manage us? There was a lot of resentment, and I take responsibility for what happened. And they actually wrote some poison letters to the CEO that I should be discharged. I should be dismissed. And at that point in time, it was like really tough for me, right? Because it was the summer months and my family had left for Singapore because the kids were having holidays, summer vacation. I was all alone. And I was like worried about my career, worried about why this happened to me, etc. And then I went to the Bhagavad Gita, and believe it or not, I just opened the Bhagavad Gita and it came up to 2.14. Right? The non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress, and the disappearance are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer season. I need to be able to tolerate this and also learn why this is actually happening. Right? So once again, the principle is that life will, inevitably bring challenges. And tolerating doesn't mean passivity. All right. It means enduring the hardship with a sense of purpose and faith in a higher plane. All right. Accepting responsibility. Right. Accepting responsibility, number one. Number two is, enduring the difficulty, because that's my purpose. I have a purpose and I have to live that purpose. And in this whole course of tolerating, what are we doing? We are actually building our resilience. Because facing difficulties with patience, it just strengthens our emotional fortitude. Right? And it also allows us to shift our perspective. Seeing challenges as temporary changes our relationship to them. Yeah, this is just a difficult moment. Or there's a retrenchment. Yes, it's a difficult moment. What can I do about it? There's an upcoming retrenchment in my office. What can I do about it? Can I quickly learn some new skills? Where is my gap today? What can I do about this? Can I start, reaching out to different headhunters? Maybe, wherever I go, I'll be facing the same problem. What can I do to upskill myself? Okay, so these kind of challenges, see them as, as a temporary difficulty which is providing you with some fortitude. And then finally, the spiritual insight is that the Bhagavad Gita teaches that tolerance enables us to transcend the dualities like joy and sorrow, really leading to steadiness of our mind. So what are some of the tools and practices which we can embark on? So Hui, she taught us the mantra meditation 2 weeks ago. So chanting mantras like the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, engaging in meditation, it just helps to soothe the mind during a distress. Okay. The second one is perspective journaling, writing down a current challenge and exploring how it might be part of a larger plan for growth. Okay, so that's called perspective journaling, where you are writing down what are the challenges you are facing, but at the same time, you are, exploring how this might be part of a larger plan for my growth. Okay. And finally, asking ourselves, what lesson in this situation, right, can I learn? And how can I grow from this? Okay. So this is the framework. It's called the last framework. Letting go, appreciate, seek, tolerance, right? So it's not just about compartmentalizing these experiences, right? As Dawn mentioned earlier on, it's not about compartmentalizing, it's about weaving them together to create a balanced and fulfilling life. Okay, so if you are looking at permanent kind of positivity, this is a wonderful metrics to go for, right? Letting go creates space for positivity by removing our emotional baggage. Appreciating reinforces self-growth and for gratitude. Seeking propels us forward, helping us to build a brighter future. And finally, tolerate ensures we remain grounded and steady during the turbulences. Okay. And then, once again, there's interconnectedness. So I'll take a pause here to see if you have any questions. Actually, we are exactly on the hour. It's 8:27, 3 more minutes. Shivani, any questions from your side? Any reflections, any realizations you'd like to share with the class?
I found this quite like insightful actually. Can you hear me?
Yes, Shivani, we can
Yeah.
hear you.
Yeah. Like I mean especially about the gratitude, like appreciating the old and happy experiences. Because I realized that a lot of times I don't express gratitude for what I do have. I just keep seeking more. Yeah, and also about tolerating. Like I think that was also very insightful. Like you just accept the negative experiences as well and know that they are not permanent. Yeah.
That's a very important point. That's a very important point.
Yeah, that was very interesting to me because like a lot of times when like unhappy experiences, like when I go through them, I just like keep thinking that, oh, why am I going through it, and things like that. Like I don't really think about the fact that this is not permanent, and like both the happiness and unhappiness are part of your life journey. Yeah.
Wonderful. And also another important point is that apart from these being temporary experiences, it is also part of a larger plan. We need to acknowledge that this is part of a larger plan for our growth.
Hmm.
There's always a
Yeah.
reason why something is happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Reason why something is happening. Right now, I cannot understand it, but in time to come, I will be able to appreciate it. Just have faith in the universe. Just have faith in God.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks for
Yep.
sharing your realization. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much. Thank you.
Ellie, any final points you like to make?
Actually, yeah, I'd like to thank you for sharing the Bhagavad Gita 2.47 and 2.48. Yeah, that helps, as you said, stabilize you, ground you in that turbulence. I really like that, where it says, it's from Lord Krishna, right? It
Yes,
says,
yes, yes.
not be attached. No, no, never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities and never be attached to not doing your duty. Because sometimes, as you say, things happen and you're not sure why. It's part of the karmic journey that you have to go through, I think.
Exactly. I still owe you that class.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah,
So, it's just part of that karmic journey, and you don't know, no, you don't know why these things happen, but it's just part of the lessons that you need to go through and build up and face, and maybe in time you'll get more perspective, I think. So meanwhile, just do your best and don't be attached to success or failure. That's really important for me today. Thank you very much for that.
yeah. Just a minute. I'm going to be sharing a short video. Okay. It's from uh, 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 an American movie. Okay. Just give me a minute. I just wanted to watch this and hear uh, what the actors are going to be saying.
What if I desire not to get killed?
If a bullet's gonna get you, it's already been fired.
Any suggestions?
Always perform with detachment. Any action you must do and surrender all actions to me. This is what Krishna tells the warrior Arjuna when he's hesitating the night before the great battle.
Krishna. It's the dude with the blue skin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. So, even if you watch Oppenheimer, so even a lot of what is in the Bhagavad Gita is also, once again discussed in the movie Oppenheimer. So the Westerners, they really love this concept that, wow, I just give the best of my abilities. I just focus on the process. And then, I'm not going to be stressed about the results. Right? The results are because of my karma. The results are also because there are so many other elements, which are working for me, against me in orchestration. But finally, I know that there's a bigger plan over there. All I need is to just trust the process.
I think that's just what I say. I think you'll still be stressed.
Yes.
But I think it gives you that faith and that hope that finally there would be some sort of illumination at the end of it, I think.
Well said. Yeah. Thank you very much, Ellie. Okay, so next week's class will be on the law of karma. And maybe the last few slides on the 3 modes of material nature. Um, 3 modes of material nature. Um, 3 modes of material nature. Um, 3 modes of material nature. 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 3 right? That's a very, very important lesson. In fact, these three modes of material nature, the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance, how we should orchestrate our lives so that we are living always in the mode of goodness. The food which we eat, the clothes which we wear, the environment which we are in, these are all affecting us. Once they affect us, then the behavior which we exhibit is again in the same mode. If I'm in the mode of goodness, if my mind is charged in the mode of goodness, if I'm eating food in the mode of goodness, if my entire atmosphere, my table, the people I'm around with, they are all in the mode of goodness, then automatically I will exude, behaviors which are in the mode of goodness. If I am in a dirty place, right? Dirty, unclean, I'm eating food which is stale, etc., then the mode of ignorance from the food, from the atmosphere, from the people around me, that is going to be affecting me, and I'm going to be full of lethargy, no energy at all, always thinking that tomorrow I will do this, procrastination, etc. So that is why Krishna spends 100 out of 700 verses explaining this. Okay. So with that, we come to the end of today's class. Thank you very much for your patience. I hope this tool, LAST tool, has been useful for you as you set your resolutions for this year. Right? Remember, letting go of the past and also learning what you can learn from the past. Number 2, appreciating, expressing gratitude for all the good stuff which has happened. At the same time, don't be complacent, as what Dawn has said, and then seek out for the new experiences, like the curious soul, always enthusiastic about the new experiences. And sometimes when things don't go the way we had expected, always tell yourself that there is a higher order. In time to come, we will learn more about it. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right. See you all next week. Thank you very much.